today. We're just about to do the marine survey on Indigo.
Well, it was an exciting day. We got all the way over to have a look at the boat and have the survey done. But in reality, the survey didn't really tell us very much at all, to be quite honest with you. Most of what we discovered was obvious, or we could have figured out on our own. In fact, some of the findings turned out to be completely wrong. So, very sceptical of the quality of some of the surveys that exist for pre-buying purposes. The sea trial was okay. I guess if we'd discovered anything terrible, we'd have stopped. But the boat wasn't as clean as we would like at the time. It had been sitting around for quite a long time on the hard, and we discovered an awful lot in the engine room. Taking the turbo side apart, we found a lot of mess inside of that, which had to be dismantled and cleaned. The engine room itself was my biggest concern, most of which I resolved myself. As you can see, that's the turbo looking a lot cleaner after some serious cleaning. And typical areas to look for, things like inside the exhaust elbow that you can see here is pretty cruddy and corroded, so in most situations you'll have to replace the aluminum Achilles heel of most engines where the exhaust comes out into the exhaust system and starts melting. But of course the cooling system is one of the big failure areas of a lot of sailboats that happen at sea, so we're keen to dismantle all of that. So you'll see in here we're just going to get in some detail of how that was done and the use of barnacle buster, which worked pretty well for us, but there are some serious things to consider, which you'll see.
Okay, so I'm really improvising here. I'm simply pouring a barnacle buster through the tubes. I'm going to leave it soaking in it, but I'm just pouring it so I get some initial contact. There's a lot of crud, calcium deposits. Basically, it is an acid solution. It's an acidic solution with buffering to reduce its reactivity, but it'll do a pretty good job on calcium, and it will just bubble away like crazy, I hope. If this was not a buffered solution, I would not be pouring. Wow, just look at that bus. There we go, just have a quick look at that. You can see it bubbling away there on the calcium. It's already gone. See the reaction there? Obviously works. But it's a very simple product indeed.
One of the things to be aware of is that in any bronze or brass engine components, or through hulls for that matter, they contain a mixture of copper and zinc. And zinc is quite reactive, and when exposed to an acid solution like barnacle buster or muriatic acid, which is stronger, you can see the effects of dezinkification. When the zinc is removed from the metal alloy, you end up with a pink appearance, and that is significantly weaker. And in this example, you can see that part of the component just fell apart. It broke off in my fingers. And you can see a little bit of pink in the inside of this raw water pump, because it's obviously been exposed to cleaning acid in the past. And over a period of time, it starts to show up as taking the zinc off and beginning to look pink. So be aware of that, and particularly be aware of any pink on your through hulls. If you see pink in your through hull, then it probably needs replacing. You wouldn't want that to fail. There were so many things that needed to be fixed on this boat, even though it was generally a good boat. Surveyor missed most of it. The entire exhaust hose in all of its sections needed to be replaced, which was a hell of a job. There's a hole I'm pointing to that was in the aft cabin, but the surveyor didn't notice that. And the cost and complexity of all of those things that were missed really did add up over time. We found a corroded and leaking high pressure switch.
You put the water on, Liz?
No,
At least we can.
it is. Maybe angle it up a bit.
Pardon?
Might angle it up a bit.
And the hydraulic furling needed to be replaced. And all the propane hoses were replaced. We didn't like the look of that leak, and we don't like the sound of our boat having a propane leak and the whole thing exploding. So that was a worthwhile job. It means taking a lot of things apart, taking all the stove out. It took quite a long time to get this all squared away nicely. The hardest part in all this was really just running the hoses from the outside to the inside, and running the wires for the Zintex Fireboy leak detector, and making sure that when the gimbal stove swings there is no chafing and rubbing of the hoses under the stove.
Okay, so today is the day. It's finally come. I've been bumped about 4 times trying to get the boat Indigo to be moved from its current place to the working pad on the Osprey workyard. So the travel lift is here now, and it looks like, at least I hope it looks like, they're going to be taking my boat. They're also planning to take the boat next door, so we'll see how that goes.
And finally we're off to the Osprey work pad, where we're going to have the bottom of the boat soda blasted. We're going to have a layer of epoxy put on the bottom, and then we're going to have a hard layer of anti-fouling and 2 layers of ablative paint, different colours, so we can tell when one wears through. So this is quite exciting. There's been a lot of work building up to this. These guys moving the boat at Harrington Harbour really know what they're doing. They're brilliant at operating this thing. And there's the red hard bottom paint, and then that's the final coat of dark blue, and then the propeller, which is a gory, has been serviced and painted with Prop Speed. And finally, after many weeks in Osprey's yard, having lots of maintenance and bottom paint done, the boat is ready to be placed back in the water.
Just having a few extra little bits of paint put on, try the blocks have been a little bit of touch up. Now it's suspended in the sling.
And we're off, and it looks so good to see her in the straps and ready to be placed back in the water. Lots of maintenance done on the bottom of the boat, and new bottom paint, and she'll be ready for me to sail around to Harrington Harbour South this afternoon. And so we settled into our new home in Harrington Harbour South on D-Dock, and met some great friends out there and some very special people indeed. The environment was beautiful, although it rained quite a lot. Lots of wildlife, and some very special relationships were built in that environment. The pool was great, the wildlife was stunning, and it was sad to say goodbye as we began to plan for our departure. And of course, before we could do that, we had some pretty important business to take care of, not least of all, naming the boat. So this is a ceremony to pay homage to the sea gods, and I'm going to follow the tradition that we have to unname and rename the boat. So bear with me. Oh, by the way, should we introduce ourselves? Right, so
Certainly. In the crowd.
Jeannie Stevenson.
Paul, which boat?
Norme.
Okay. Paul. I'm Bill. And I'm Paul. Right, and I won't tell you what the boat name is yet, but right. O mighty and great ruler of the seas and oceans, to whom all ships and we who venture upon your vast domain are required to pay homage, implore you in your graciousness to expunge for all time from your records and recollection the name Indigo, which has ceased to be an entity in your kingdom. As proof thereof, we submit this ingot, which is stuck on the lining of my pants, bearing her name, to be corrupted through your powers and forever be purged from the sea. There we go. It's time for a drink. I'm gonna pour.
You got goosebumps.
That's so cool. Right. So what do I do? Tell me what I do here.
Pour at least half the bottle of champagne into the sea from east to west.
Boom. So there's south. So where's east? That must be that way, right?
That way.
Okay. So let me go down here.
This is the cheap stuff, that's all. Not really.
Right. Cheap. It's the most expensive they had is $14. Okay. Right. Anybody? Right, who would like to drink?
We just did.
Wait a minute, there's more yet, right?
Yeah, there's more.
But wait, there's more.
I've got to have a drink first. This is where the master.
There it
That was
is.
a good pop. That was a good pop.
All right. So, in the pursuit of our lawful endeavours, ever sparing is the overwhelming scourge of your frigid breath. Okay. Facing west. Great Zephyrus, exalted ruler of the west wind, grants us permission to use your mighty powers in the pursuit of our lawful endeavours, ever sparing is the overwhelming scourge of your wild breath. Facing east, great Eurus, exalted ruler of the east wind, grants us permission to use your mighty powers in Great Notus, ruler of the south wind, grants us permission to use your mighty powers in the pursuit of our lawful endeavours, ever sparing is the overwhelming scourge of your scalding breath.
We got frigid breath, scalding breath.
With that, we indulge. Cheers.
Cheers.
Oneiro.
Oneiro.
Let's for this day forward be known as.
Oneiro.
There we go.
Very nice.
Well, we had some really good fun renaming our boat to Oneiro, and very shortly afterwards we were distracted by the pending hurricane, or soon to be downgraded to Tropical Storm Florence, that was heading our way. Hi, well, we've got through the hurricane. That didn't really come to much at all around here, but it did have quite a big effect down in the Carolinas. But right now we've got a warning to say that there's a tornado coming, and the tornado is likely to be here in the next 5 hours. We're looking for dark areas, and if you see behind me, that looks to me like a developing tornado. And let me just see if I can give you a better look at that thing. So it's dark and it's deepening, and that does not look good. If it's coming across here, it's a powerful noise. Well, thankfully the tornado didn't really amount to very much. It never hit us. It went in a different direction, but we did get an awful lot of rain. And then heading back to the boat that night, just getting ready for bed, went to pull the curtain back and felt something crunchy under my fingers, and it turned out to be a wasp's nest. It wasn't a big one, but yeah, unpleasant to say the least. Anyhow, down to matters of a less skin-crawling nature. When we went to test the satellite phone, I found that it hadn't ever really been connected at all. That's why it wasn't working. And Tiffany Yachts, that had charged quite a lot of money for all the work they did on the boat to the previous owner, were responsible and didn't really impress us at all. In fact, during the so-called repair, they managed to blow up our cradle by putting too much voltage through it. Disappointing. And that brings us to an end of this episode of Sailing Oneiro, the beginning. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, please get in touch with us using the link below. Subscribe so you'll get a notification of our next episode as we leave the dock and set sail from the United States, heading for Bermuda. Thanks for watching.
Well, you only need a light when it's burning low. Only need the sun when it starts to snow. Only know you love her when you let her go. Only know you've been high when you're feeling low. Only hit the road when you're coming home. Only know you love her when you let her go. Staring at the ceiling in the dark, same old empty feeling in your heart. That comes so slow and goes so fast. Where do you see her when you close your eyes? Maybe one day you'll understand.